Good morning. It's wonderful Wednesday. Are we ready? Are we ready? I'm ready. I've had my coffee. I had a bagel this morning with some peanut butter. I had a bagel with peanut butter because I had to put some peanut butter on Little Diesel's busy bone. And he's outside on the back porch with his bone stuffed with little dog food kernels and some peanut butter. And hopefully he'll be very content out there as we're in here doing a little crocheting. Hey, Marcia, good morning. How is everybody today? Are we ready to get this day started? I know you're excited about these squares. Hey, Elsie, good morning. Should I put a little more light on the subject, maybe? Perhaps. So I finally got some of the Red Heart all-in-one granny yarn. Hey, Mrs. B, good morning. I've been a holdout for the yarn. Um, Number one, I've seen all of the reviews where everybody's like, it doesn't line up. It's too much work. It's this, it's that. It's not what it's cracked up to be. I'm talking about this yarn, guys. This all-in-one granny square yarn by Red Heart. But I thought to myself, number one, the price has finally come down on this yarn. So I thought, okay, I'll take the plunge. Um, and I have, this is the way the yarn is designed. If you can see this, excuse me, you're supposed to make these granny squares with it. It has the light pink and then it moves to the dark and then it's got the lighter colors and then it's finally outlined with black. And you're supposed to make traditional granny squares with it. And they've set up the yarn so that it flows in these colors. And the concept behind it is you don't have to snip off and tie on and weave in ends and all that good jazz. But you know me, I don't like to do things the normal way. So what I did is I said, uh-huh, I'm going to make my own granny square with that yarn. I'm going to figure out all the math and I'm going to make something a little different than a normal granny square. So that's what I came up with. I worked on this Friday night and everybody crochets a little different. I can't guarantee this is going to work for everybody. But for me, I figured out how to kind of make it work. So the first thing I did, it starts with this light pink color. I made the center here. Sorry, guys, my allergies are kind of bad today. I took an allergy pill. Hopefully it kicks in here soon. I crocheted a center. Then I ripped it out because one of the biggest problems with this yarn that people experience is right here in the middle. And a lot of times the skeins have too much yarn here to do your little center, if anybody else has experienced that. And what I figured out by ripping mine out and measuring is I need 70 inches to start my center. So what I do is I get my handy dandy tape measure out and I measure out 70 inches. So there's 20. There is 40. There is 60. And another 10 gives us 70. So if I had started at the very end, I would have had too much yarn. So instead, I'm going to start right here to make my center. Now, this center is going to look familiar to you guys. And the reason why, y'all just saw me make the Victorian lattice square by Destiny Wymore. Sorry, bumping the camera here. I'm gathering stuff. Remember this center right here? I did the same thing. So this and this is an extraction of that. Okay, so that's how I came up with this center. I was kind of on a roll with it. Hey, Kelly, good morning. Paula is in the house. Good morning. Joan, how are you? Vallox is here. Mama Wheeler is in the house. Hey, Mom, good morning. How are you? Elsie is here. I don't know if I said good morning, Elsie. I think I saw Debbie over there too on YouTube. Okay, so this very part here at 70 inches, that's where I'm going to make my magic ring. And I'm going to bring that down and I'm going to start with a double crochet right here into the center. If I can get my hook working this morning. Hey, Cindy, good morning. if I can get my hook and hands working. I haven't crocheted much this morning. So there is my double crochet. Then I'm going to chain one. I need a total of 12 double crochets with a chain one in between each one. That is how I'm starting out this center. This light is kind of shining in my eyes. Let me adjust this a little bit. We've got rainy day schedule here. Hey, Gen X, good morning. Thanks for being over on YouTube with me. Appreciate that. I saw Anvil was here this morning as well. Our fabulous moderators who do so much to help me. So again, 12 double crochets with a chain of one in between. The other thing I liked about using this for the center of the square, and I'll show you this in a minute here. This is very forgiving if our counts get off a little bit with how much yarn we're using. A granny square, not so much. Gen X is everywhere. She's over here on TikTok too. Woot woot. Gen X in the house. Hey, Lefty. Good morning. Veronica. Good morning. How are you? Okay, let me do a little counting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One more. Are we going to make it? There's my color change. Uno mas. Let's get this stitch in here. I do need a chain one there. It's pretty close. We're going to call that good enough. Okay, so then I'm going to slip stitch over here into the space. And the reason why I say it's good enough is because when I designed this, I made it so that it's forgiving, okay? So as long as your spokes are kind of the same color here, when we come back with the dark color around, you can see here, we're going to be going in between those spokes. And so it's going to cover up this purple here, and you're not even going to know that it's there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a 2 together double crochet. So I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. Pull up my loop. Now I'm not going to finish this stitch. I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm going to put in another double crochet. Yarn over, right back down in the space. Now we have 2 unfinished. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Chain 2. And now I'm going to move to the next space, and again I'm going to do a 2 together double crochet. I'll do a few of these, then we'll kind of slow it down and show in detail how this is done. Skip to the next space, 2 together double crochet. Veronica, thank you so much for the gifts this morning. I appreciate that. Everybody's sending in their little heart me's, supporting the team. The hearts are flying this morning. Tippity tap, tap, tap. Grammy Juju, good morning. How are you? How are things in Canada? Okay, so again, in between each one, a 2 together double crochet cluster. So into this space, I'm going to start a double crochet, yarn over, right down in that stitch, grab up a loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, holding that stitch, not finishing. Now right back down into this space again, we're going to start another double crochet. Again, do not finish. Now we're back to 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 2 to move to our next stitch. Lefty, thank you so much for the tiny dinies. Tiny dinies. Again, into the next space, repeat our 2 together double crochets, our double crochet cluster. So start your first one, do not finish. Yarn over, go back down in, grab up a loop. 2 stitches back, you only chained 1. Oh, I sure as heck did. Let's rewind that. Cal Gal is on it this morning. Cal Gal got her coffee. I apparently need some more. Look at that. Nice call. Here we go. Frogging this morning already. Thank you so much for catching that. Appreciate that. Chain 2 in between. Definitely get your chain 2s. Otherwise, this will really affect how this purple yarn ends up. Again, this is kind of forgiving with this, how I've kind of set this up. But anyhow, hey, Debbie, good morning. Karina said you designed this square. Yeah, this yarn I'm using, guys, if you're just joining on, this is the Red Heart All-in-One square. It's designed to make these granny squares, your traditional granny squares. And I changed things up. Being the little rebel that I am, I said, I don't want to make that square. Everybody makes that square. So I changed things up. I've been making this center a lot because you guys will remember this pattern we were doing, the lattice square. We worked on this last week. This center right here is this. So I definitely snagged that because I really liked the look of that. And I thought, oh, if I come back and put some petals around it in the other colors, that might look kind of cool. So the part I'm doing right now, I didn't really modify anything. I just kind of replicated that. Rachel Crochets is in the house. Hey, Rachel, good morning. Rachel, for those of you that are not following Rachel, give Rachel a follow. She is a fabulous live crocheter over here on TikTok. She hit 10,000 followers, and on Thursday, she's going to be teaching her husband how to crochet on TikTok live. Marsha, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, I'm using a size I9 hook this morning. I9. Joyful Rosetta, good morning. Thank you for the heart me. Piper says that's pretty. Thank you so much, Piper. I appreciate that. So what I'm doing right now, guys, is in between these spokes of this little wheel here, in the space, I'm doing a 2 together double crochet. So I yarn over, go right down in that space, grab up my loop. Now we have 3. Yarn over, pull through 2, do not finish. Thank you for the heart me. Caroline, good morning. I bought some but can't get the colors to end right. Sandy, that is what I was worried about. So that's why I did my own thing. Yarn over, right back down into that stitch, grab up another loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 2 unfinished double crochets. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Chain 2 to move to the next space. So into this space again, 2 together, double crochet. Start your double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, do not finish. Right back down into this space, start another double crochet. Now we have 2 unfinished, total of 3 loops up on top, yarn over and pull through all 3. Chain 2. Cheryl said, I'm so sad I can't be on Rachel's live tomorrow night. Oh no. A lot of people have been frustrated with this yarn. Nicole, I'm making this little granny square here this morning. I had this Red Heart all-in-one yarn that I wanted to make something with, and I didn't want to make the traditional granny square, so I came up with my own thing here. And that's what we're working on. So right into this space again, 2 together, double crochet. Just a Gen X girl is in the house. Thank you for the heart me. Appreciate that. Papa Wheeler has been sick for almost 2 weeks, and Mama Wheeler is sick too. Is this a beginner's live? Hannah, kind of. If you're new to my channel, my name is April. Welcome, welcome. I started this at the very beginning. Now, for those that don't know, when I go live, I'm live both on TikTok and on YouTube. And then you can go back and rewatch the videos over on my YouTube channel. So a lot of people go back over there if it's something that they want to make, and then they rewatch the live. So I try to teach the stitches as I'm working along and what I'm doing. So this is our last space here. Into this space, again, we need our 2 together double crochet cluster. Yarn over, right down into that space, grab up your loop. Now we have 3. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, go back down in, start yet another double crochet. Now we have 3 unfinished. Yarn over, pull through all 3, chain 2, don't drop your square. And you can see here I have extra. That's okay, because this is very forgiving. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch here to my very first stitch. Okay, then I'm going to move to the next stitch here, and I'm going to be working into this space here. So now you can see we've kind of absorbed that. We're now ready to start working on our lavender work. Yep, lavender yarn. Let me close up my magic ring a little bit here. Guys, if I do miss your comments today, I apologize. I'm doing my very best to watch, but I am talking a lot about stitches today. So feel free to ask again. The mods will try to pin your comment if I miss it, and we'll definitely try to get you answered, okay? Okay, so now what we're doing is we're moving to the lighter lavender color that you see here. And I haven't snipped anything off. I'm just going around with this all-in-one yarn. The first thing we have to do is we have to create a chain structure into each of these spaces. So if you can envision, I'm working into this space here, doing a chain, and then I'm doing a slip stitch to attach it in between these little spokes. Then what I do is I come back around and I add these double crochets to give it this petal look. Okay, so that is our next mission. So to begin, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Make sure you're working in the space. Now I'm going to move to the next space here and I'm going to slip stitch into that space. So that little chain there is what we're going to use to work those double crochets around. Chain 3, right into the space, again slip stitch, chain 3, moving along to each of the spaces, and I'm doing a slip stitch in between. I started first with a single crochet when I was testing this, and with a single crochet, it used too much yarn. Mommy T, thank you so much for the tiny dinies. I appreciate that. Wow, you guys already knocked out that gift goal. I appreciate that. Wow, that was fast. Y'all are on fire. On fire. Let me change this up. If this thing is going to work, here we go. Let's set up something new. I said we're on fire. Do they have fire? Well, we could do lightning bolts. Let's do lightning bolts. There you go. Close enough. Okay, so again, slip stitch in between, chain 3, move to the next space, slip stitch all the way around. Very, very easy. Thank you so much for the heart me. Appreciate that. Hooked by Rosie is in the house. Is everybody having a wonderful Wednesday? Wow, y'all already unlocked the first stage of Team Cheers. Thank you all so much for supporting the team. Thank you, thank you. Chain 3, almost back to the beginning. This is our very first stitch here. I'm going to join again with a slip stitch into this space. Now I'm going to start working into these chains. Now this kind of curls up a little bit. Don't fret. As we come back and add our double crochets, this is going to flatten itself back out. So where I'm at right now, we've done our little chain structure. Now see how this is kind of bowing out here? That's what this is going to do as well. As we start adding these stitches, you're going to get some real definition here to make this kind of look like a flower. Okay. Now, one of the things that's kind of weird about this, because I am working with this yarn, uh, I sometimes put 5 double crochets in each one, and sometimes I put 4, okay? And I kind of alternate them around. Depending on how much yarn they gave me for this all-in-one yarn, it kind of varies. But that is how I kind of got around making it work. So I'm going to go into the first stitch here and get myself set up. And I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. Now you could do a chain of 3 here. And I'm going to put 5 double crochets into this chain space here. Okay, so you can see how there it's kind of popping up, like I said. Then I'm going to, what did I do here? I got to remember what I did. I haven't worked on this for a while. Did I tack that down? Ugh, what did I do? I don't remember. I might have to tear one of these apart. I don't think I did anything there. I think I just moved to the next space. Let's try it and see. No, I definitely tacked it. Okay, yeah, I did tack it. Sorry, I do these things. This is why I have to come on and make a video so I remember what the heck that I did. So after you get your double crochet, go right down in this stitch here and do a slip stitch and pull that down. Yep, definitely that's it. Now I'm going to move to the next space and I'm going to do a double crochet into that space. So that helps kind of pull that down, that slip stitch. Goodness me, oh my, so early. I can't remember. I should write this stuff down. How many times have y'all told me, April, you should write this stuff down? I really should. I haven't worked on these since, when did I do this? Saturday? Okay, 5 double crochets. Again, I'm going to go right into this little stitch here, and I'm going to do a slip stitch and tack that down. Then I'm going to move to the next stitch here and again do my double crochets. And I'm doing 5 in each one. Now I might have to work backwards a little bit with this square depending on how much yarn I have. It's always a mystery with this yarn. And I might have to reduce down to 4 stitches on some of these. But we'll just have to see how that goes. So this is the one stitch right here, the one area where you kind of have to work with your yarn. Is it easier than tying on? I don't know. I don't really know. I've only bought this one color of the all-in-one yarn. I think, like I said, I got this square to kind of, work. You know what? I didn't do double crochets on this. Look how big this is turning out. Look how small this is. I did single crochets, you guys. Get your frogs. Frogging. I did single crochets, not double crochets. I'm doing it all wrong. I'm doing it all wrong. You got to be able to laugh at yourself on these things, right? Doop, doop, doop. All right, let's try again. I'm going to say 5 single crochets and see how that works. Are y'all laughing with me? That's why I didn't have to do any slip stitches in between. I just did 5 single crochets. Doo doo doo. Tammy said, can you make something other than granny squares with that yarn? I'm sure you can. Has anybody else made a blanket? MJR says, look out, crochet police. No kidding, MJR. I'm on a roll this morning. Mama Wheeler said, that's my girl. Oh. Hopefully y'all are laughing at me and with me and all that stuff. Hooked by Rosie said it's a habit, right? I always do double crochets. I don't do as many single crochets. But look, it's looking better, isn't it? Go figure. Gen X, thank you for the gifts this morning. Appreciate it. Veronica said, April, even when you do it wrong, it looks awesome. It would have looked totally cool with double crochets. The problem would be that I wouldn't have enough of this color yarn. They don't give you enough. So that you have to work within the yarn. This is the yarn I'm using if you're just hopping on. It's the Red Heart Granny Square all-in-one. So they give you this is what you're supposed to make. This little dude right here, if you can see that. You have the light color in the middle, and then it's just a traditional granny square. And I've modified it. Karina says she's always laughing with me. Okay, that's good. It's okay if you laugh at me sometimes because I'm a bit of a dork. Debbie's got her frogs going over here on YouTube. Thank you, Debbie. We gotta sometimes have the ability to laugh at ourselves. Let's see how much yarn we've got left here of this color. So I can't tell where it changes at. Here's where it changes right here. Okay, so we've got this much to go. This is why I said sometimes I have to do only 4 stitches. I still have this many stitches to go around. So on this one, instead of doing 5, I'm going to do 4 single crochets. And I know you guys are sitting there going, wait, what? Why are you only doing 4? You're supposed to be doing 5. When you come back on the next row, it doesn't make a difference if you do 4 or 5. So I did 4 here. Again, it's not enough that you're able to tell. I did 5 here. Now let's do 4 on this one. I'm trying to make this so it lines up perfect with the amount of yarn that I have. I have this much more yarn. It ends right here. Let's do our 5 and see if I can get it. 2, 3, oh, not enough. See how it's changing color on me? So I've got to frog some more back. I think some of them I did like every other stitch. I did 4 of them. So there's 3. We're going to do 4 in this one. Now we'll do 5. Does everybody understand why I'm making it less stitches? Because I don't have enough yarn. Does that make sense to everybody why I'm doing it? You probably are like, I'm never going to make this square because I'm not going to sit here and rewind my work. I don't know that I will make this again. I'll probably make enough for a blanket, you know. Um, so here we have 5. Now I'm going to do 4. I'm trying to make this yarn stretch so I can get all the way around this little flower. Now I'm going to go back to doing 5, 4, 5. Okay, I have this much yarn now. And I've got to do 4. I'm going to try to do 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Karina says, I'd make this square with other yarn because I like the look of it. Yeah, it's a cool looking square. I was just trying to make something where I could use the granny square yarn in a way that was different than what they said. Because I've made so many granny squares in my life. Sometimes I'm just like not interested, you know? Okay. Now, the big question everybody has is, well, you've done 5 and 4 on some. Why doesn't it make a difference? And the reason why, now we're going to start working on this dark purple row. In the corners, I did a treble, chain 3, and then a treble. Hey, Kimberly, good morning. Then you can see on each side, I have 3 petals. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, does everybody see that? Into each of the petals, I'm doing a back post double crochet, double, double, double. In the very center, I'm doing a back post half double. And then over to this other side, I'm back to a back post double. Okay, so treble, double, half double, double, back to treble. Okay, so the concept here is we're going to get big on this side, slowly get down smaller, and then work our way big. And what we're doing is we're turning this round shape into a square. The reason why the counts of these petals don't matter if you have 4 or 5 is because on each petal, we're only doing 3. 3 back post half doubles, 3 back post half doubles, and 3 back post double crochets. So again, why didn't you do 1 in each stitch? Number 1, there wasn't enough yarn. And I had my stitches uneven, so I don't want to have to think about it. All I want to have to think about is I just have to do 3. So if I have 4 stitches I'm working into or 5 stitches, it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to join with a slip stitch right here. This is going to be our corner. Okay. Now the corner, I worked all the way down into this space here, and I started here with a treble crochet. Okay. And that's going to count as my first treble. So I'm going to do a chain of, a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then in the corner, I need 3, a chain of 3 so that I can turn my corner. Now right back down into this space, I need another treble crochet. So, and I'm actually going to try to pick up this loop and get him secured under there. I didn't wrap around 3 times. Let's try this again. 1, 2. Okay. So here I'm making a treble. Okay, so that becomes our corner. So our next corner is going to be over here. And I could put stitch markers there if that helps you guys to visualize where the corners are. So here's a corner. 1, 2, 3. Here's a corner. 1, 2, 3, and here's a corner. Okay. Just so you kind of can you visualize that a little easier now? So here's our one corner. We're working towards this corner. So into this first petal, we have to do 3 back post half doubles. And I'm just going to pick kind of the 3 that stand out. They don't have to be perfect here. Yarn over, go underneath the post, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. I'll talk about these a little more as we work our way around. Yarn over, grab up a loop, again, double crochets. Now, one thing you'll notice, I kind of skipped the stitch that's here closest to this treble crochet. And the reason why is that treble, because it's the corner, will kind of pull over and go into your stitches and help close that gap up. Okay. So again, back post half double, or excuse me, back post double. Okay. So there's our 3 doubles. Now I'm going to move to the next little petal here. And now we need half doubles. So they're a little shorter. Hey, Maggie, good morning. Friends, if you're not following Miss Maggie Unicorn, you definitely should. She is fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Teaches lots of crochet on her lives. Very, very talented. I think I actually want to pick up this stitch. I'm going to move this back a little bit. Let's go back. I didn't like how it left that big kind of space there. So these are half doubles. They're a little shorter here in the middle. And we need 3 of them. So basically we're big here in the corner with our trebles, then we have our doubles. Now we're going to do these 3 half doubles. Okay? When you're doing these back posts, it kind of makes these pop forward and give it a little texture. So now here's our corner. This is where we're going to be putting our trebles. And again, here we have our stitches of the petal. And so now we're going to have to do our double crochet. So we're getting bigger as we're headed back to the corner. So again, we need 3 back post doubles. Thank you for the follow and good morning. Welcome, welcome. If you are new to my channel, my name is April. I'm a hobby crocheter. Let's see. Jeanette says, I do not like it when you scroll to see messages you missed. It moves you to a new live. I sometimes do that too, Jeanette's girl, when I am trying to go back and then I accidentally like skip all the way over. Hey, Sparky, good morning. Let's see. Did somebody else? Oh, Sparkly Witch is here. Good morning, Sparkly Witch. How are you? How are things? Okay, so now we are here to the corner. Now, again, remember in the corner, I worked these treble crochets all the way down into that little space there. So I'm not working around the petal. I'm actually going to work here around this post. So treble crochet, wrap our yarn around twice. We have 3 loops. Go down into this stitch, kind of wiggle your hook in there. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So it's kind of a long stitch there. That's okay. You want this to be tall. We're making this into a square. Chain 3. Now we need another treble right down into that same stitch. This is our corner. So wrap your yarn around twice, yarn over, pull up a loop. I kind of pull this up tall a little bit here. You can kind of see how I make sure it clears that petal there. Okay, so one side now is done. Now we're going to move to, excuse me, my allergies this morning. I'll tell you guys, I am very congested. Let me get a drink. I think everybody's congested. I know Mama Wheeler is sick too. Aliza said, I love your colors. Thank you. Aliza, I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. I can't take credit for it because this is the yarn I'm using. It's set up this way for me. I'm using the Granny Square all-in-one yarn by Red Heart. I didn't want to make a traditional Granny Square like you see here in their picture, but the way that they created this yarn, and there's a lot of mixed reviews on this yarn. Some people like it. Some people really detest it. I have been a holdout. This is the first time I've purchased it, but I loved this pretty purple colors. And I thought, I'm gonna get it just so I could see if I can make something different and not have the frustration that everybody has with trying to make the Granny Square. And so I came up with this square, which is definitely different than a modern granny square. Um, this is black grape is the color, and what I'm doing is I'm making this square here. So instead of a modern or the traditional granny square like it calls for, I'm using the yarn that they've provided, and I came up with something that I'm able to work around without having to cut my yarn. Um, Was it a challenge? Absolutely, a million percent. Yes, it was a challenge. That's why I rearranged my whole live schedule, because I spent Friday night and Saturday morning like thinking about this square and doing a lot of counting. Sparkly Witch says my tension is wonky. I can't get that yarn to work perfectly, and that's why a lot of people don't like that yarn, because everybody crochets different. I crochet different than every single one of you guys. We all have different tensions. We can use the exact same yarn. I'm using a size I9 hook, and we could sit side by side and make something, and it would turn out different. It's just the way that crochet is, and because we're humans, it's not a machine, right? Anvil said it's not even the tension just being wonky. The color change varies by inches, and it does. And so, what I tried to do when I was thinking about this is I tried to think of how can I make it so that if I end up with extra, I can weave it in and nobody will be the wiser. And that's what we kind of have done. So I ended up with a little extra of this color, but you can't tell. You can't tell. I ended up a little short on this pink. Again, you can't tell. So that's why I tried to work with this. Eliza, I think I'm going to make a wheelchair sized blanket, probably. So I don't need that many squares. Um, Sparky said I had to change my hook and go a little tighter, but once I did that, they all worked. Yeah, it's a lot of trial and error, a lot of trial and error. So here's my corner: treble, chain three, treble. Then I did 3 back post doubles. Now here we are to the middle. These have to get shorter. So now I'm going to do back post half doubles, and I need 3 of them. So I'm going to go here. I have a lot more stitches in these petals than 3, but if I put yarn into each one, I'm doing a double. Smack me around today. Goodness gracious, I'm really messing up. I'm messing up, y'all. Half double, another half double. If I put uh, a half double around each of these, when I get to the end of the square, I won't have enough yarn. So that's why I'm only doing 3 of this dark purple in each of these flower petals. So even though there's more stitches, I'm doing 3, 3. Now this is another corner here. This is where my half doubles or my trebles are going to be. Now into this here, I need 3 doubles. So half doubles here. Now we're back to doubles. We're getting bigger as we head back to the corner. So double crochet, back post, double. The sad part, Sparkly Witch, is I did have my coffee already. I'm a space case today. Okay, so there is another side. Now we're back here to the corner. Let's pop out our stitch marker. When we do our trebles, I'm not working here in the top. I'm working all the way down here into this stitch. So I wrap my yarn around twice, go down into that stitch, grab up a loop. I kind of pull it up a little taller than I normally would, okay? I want to clear this like petal area. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So there's a treble. Chain 3 for my corner. Now right back down into this space. Again, we need our treble. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now here we are. Here's our last corner over here. So as we are headed to the middle, we're going to have double crochets, back post doubles, and we need 3 of them. So I'm going to skip this first stitch here and go into the next 3 with my back post half or back post double. Here's number 3. Okay, now here we are to the middle. In the middle, I need to be shorter. So now I'm going to do 3 back post half doubles. Yarn over, Here is number 1, half double, working around the back post. Here's number 2 and number 3. Okay, now here we are working back to the corner. We're going to get taller here as we head back to the corner. Jennifer, thank you so much for the lightning bolts. Appreciate that. Now again, double crochet, yarn over and back post around the back post, double crochet. Here's number 2, back post, double. Oops, I did that wrong. Y'all. One more, back post, double. Okay, so there's our 3. There's another side finished. 3, 3, and 3. Now here we are to the corner. And now we're back to needing our 2 treble crochets with our chain of 3. Hey, Victoria, good morning. So again, not up here in the top and working all the way down here. Wrap my yarn around twice, bring my hook down. Am I through that stitch? No, it's hanging up. Okay, grab up my loop, pull it up tall, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 3, and then again, yarn over twice. We have 3 right back down into that stitch, another treble. Okay, so there was our last corner. Now we have 3 groupings left. So in the very first grouping here, we're going to do our back post doubles. Thank you so much for the heart me, Victoria. Appreciate that. I'm going to skip. I need to do 3 stitches. So do these 3 here, I guess. Again, it doesn't really matter. Just kind of space them out. Space them out as you're doing them. If it looks wonky, then you can go back, and that might be too far over. I think I need to do this one. See how there's too big of a space there? Because we're not going into each and every stitch, which I know a lot of you guys, that's probably, is that like make you cringe when I do that? So much of crochet is like you go into every stitch. And in this case, I'm not. And so I'm sure it kind of is like, wait, what? Why aren't you going in every stitch? So now I'm going to work in these stitches here. I'm going to do 3 half doubles, back post, half doubles. Here's number 1. So in the middle here, we're smaller. 2 and 3. Let's do a yarn check. How close are we to the black? Is it going to work out? This is the game of this yarn. I have this much more left. I need to do 3 double back post double crochets. So moving to the next little flower grouping here. It's almost like you're playing yarn chicken on every row of your project. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like that feeling. Do y'all like that feeling? Like, am I going to make it? Is it going to work out? Is it going to be close enough? Do I need to make my stitches taller? Do I need to loosen them up? Like, look how much extra I have. So then it's like, well, then what do you do with this yarn, right? It is stressful, Sarah. That's a good way to describe it. It sounds stressful. So that's why people are like, I don't know if I like this yarn. When I was doing them on Sunday, I was able to get it to work out perfectly. But look at how much I have left as I get to the corner here. That's way too much, right? So then you're faced with a dilemma. You're like, well, then what do I do? Slip stitch until I run out, but I want to be working in my corner. So I'm to the point now where it's like, I'm just going to snip it off. I don't care. I'll just weave in the ends. So I'm going to work into the corner here with a slip stitch. And because I have all this extra, I've done all my stitches. At least I didn't have to weave in all of this, right? There are some benefits to it, but I'm going to snip off. I don't care. Snip. I'm not going to stress myself out with like trying to make this yarn work out perfectly. And that's why so many people are like, I don't like this yarn, or I'm making something else with it, or I'm making a blanket with it, but I'm not gonna, do that. I totally get it, because it's like It's annoying. I find it annoying. So now I'm going to start with my black and I'm just going to put an outline on it. So for the I'm going to move to a different corner. For the corners, I just did single crochets all the way around. In the corner, I did a single crochet, chain two, single crochet, and then I just put a single crochet in every stitch. So I'm just going to outline this with black. So it comes down to, would I buy this yarn again? Would I buy the all-in-one yarn again? Right here today, after making squares and playing around with this yarn, I don't think I would. I don't think I would buy it with the intent of making a granny square or like this flower square or anything. I don't I don't want to play yarn chicken and be stressed out and have to do all this counting and frog things back and make things try to work. That's just annoying to me. I'm sorry, it's just annoying. Mello said maybe on a big sale. Could I envision possibly making this yarn to another blanket, into another like type of blanket? Um, I would have to play with it and see. I don't know. I really don't care for color pooling. And I feel like it might color pool, but I don't have any evidence to support that because I haven't done, excuse me, anything with this yarn other than these squares. Um, so I don't know. I really don't know. They've come out with a lot of colors. It's really pretty. Would it work for like my modern granny blankets? Gen X said it could work on a corner to corner. Um, I've never done a corner to corner blanket. It's probably something I need to put on my list. It's very, very popular to do a corner to corner. So I feel like I'm, one of the naughty kids that's not playing nice by not doing the corner to corner, but it's definitely something that I probably should do at some point. I just have not. So I can't speak to that. But I think I think that I could use it for something else. Or I could make more of these squares. This square has not been super frustrating to me. Yes, I'm going to have to weave in that little bit of purple. However, if I had made this square from scratch doing my own yarn colors, I would have had to weave in a lot more tails than that, right? So there is that aspect of it. If I had made this square by choosing these colors, I would have had two tails of this color, two tails of this color, two tails, two tails, two tails, 2, 4, 6, 8. I would have had 10 tails to weave in. Hey, Esther, good morning. Instead, I have two black to weave in, my one center, and I have one purple. So I have 4 instead of 10. I can get behind that, right? I could get behind that. Um, these I've already woven in all of the tails. Most of these I didn't have tails. This one I feel like is a little looser. So I think my tension when I did this purple was tighter today than when I did it on Saturday. Now it'll be fine. So I'm going to make another one. Obviously, I need more of these squares if I'm going to make a blanket. Um, and I'm going to try this time to go a little looser when I get to this dark purple and see if I can get it to work out the same. And we'll just see. Now, I am going to have extra black, which I just have been snipping off and throwing in a little bag. I can use this later on for making other squares or different projects. So I do have a lot of extra black, but I don't care about that. Arlene said, worth the stress. I I feel like Arlene, it's the amount of stress I have is not that much. Not that much. I feel like it's worth it. I feel like it's worth it. And that's why I thought I would still come on and show you guys today. Will this work when you go to make it? I can't guarantee it, guys, because everybody crochets different with their tension. So now you're like, why is she pulling out all this yarn? So the thing is, when they did this granny square yarn, I had to figure out how many inches of yarn I needed to start my center before I changed to this dark purple. For me, it was 70 inches. So I get my tape measure, my trusty cheapy tape measure, and I'm going to measure out 70 inches of this light color. So there is 20 and 40 and 60 and 70. Okay, so there is 70 inches. That's my starting point. I have this much extra. So let's put our tape measure away. For me, I started with a magic ring to make this work for myself. And I started with a standing double crochet in my magic ring right at that 70-inch mark. Okay. And what I did is I did a chain one in between and I did 12 double crochets into this magic ring. So chain one, double crochet, chain one, double crochet, do that a total of 12 times into my center here. Um, Use the black to join. Yes, I probably will join with Black Queen. That's definitely um, what is the story behind the charms on each of your project? Oh, Gaga. Uh, these are hook minders. So I put this one says angels watching over me, but you can see, can you see the little eye? It tells me I'm using a size I9 hook. So that way, 5 days from now, when I'm can't remember what I did 2 hours ago, let alone 5 days ago, what hook I was using, I will have a little hook minder. So we made these on the live. You can watch that over on my YouTube. You can also buy them on Etsy. I don't know if our friend Karen is here. Um, Karen makes hook minders that you can buy from her. TSH Designs by Karen. She's one of our good friends, and she has an Etsy store, so you can seek her out. She does custom ones as well. Sarah said, I found a lady on Pinterest that made a blanket. I'll share it on the Discord. I would love to see that, Sarah, because I am curious what other people are uh, doing with this yarn. You know, I think this project's going to turn out really good. I really do. I really like these squares. I don't want to say that I don't. I think the squares are pretty slick. Um, so I really, but I'm trying to be honest with you guys and how this yarn is working up, right? I don't want to like paint it all rainbows and unicorns and sunshines uh, because there are some challenges with this. And if you go to make these squares, I don't want you all being like, well, this was so easy for you and mine is not working. Why is mine not working? You know, it's because of the yarn, you know? And so I'm trying to be honest. Um, with my honest opinion of this yarn because I don't want you guys to be like, well, mine didn't work, this is lousy. April said it would be fine. There's going to be issues, like I promise you. If you try to make this square with this yarn, you're going to have some challenges, just like I do every time. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Here is number 12, so I need 12 double crochets, chain one. Do you see how my yarn worked out here perfect? Now, again, if you go to make this center, yours might not turn out perfect because we all have different tensions, right? How do you keep your magic circles right? Mine always loosen. I go back and I weave in this center tail. So I won't weave in this whole thing, but I go around this center like 4 or 5 times. So Lisa said this yarn is beautiful. It really is beautiful yarn. This is the yarn I'm using, guys. I gave myself a challenge to try to make a square with the Granny Square All in One by Red Heart without making the Granny Square. I bought 3 skeins. I think I bought 6 skeins. I bought 6 skeins of this. 6. I'm going to make a wheelchair size blanket, but this is the colorway Black-Grape. If you're not familiar with this yarn, the way that it is designed is it has the light pink, then it goes to the dark pink, and then it has another color of purple, another color of purple, and finally the black. And so it is all designed one color after the other. And so the challenge becomes how to get these stitches to line up perfect as you start moving to the next color. That is the challenge with this yarn. Um, be sure to work over part of your starting tail when you weave it in. Yes, yes. So, um, Jules, let me show you one how I do it. Again, I'm no expert at this stuff, guys. I just kind of have my own little tricks and things of way that I have kind of makes sense to me. Okay, so the way I make my magic rings, I watch like, um, oh wow, Granny Rose says, "Where in Northeast Alabama? I used to live in Fife and Dawson area. I'm in Rainsville, right next door to Fife, believe it or not. So small world there, Granny Rose. We moved to Rainsville about it's a little over 4 years ago now. We relocated from Arizona, and we have family here in Rainsville. Close. Anvil has it spelled right. No e in the middle, but yeah, Rainsville, Alabama. Okay, so I watched a ton of videos on how to make a magic ring, and none of them resonated with me. So finally, I came up with my own thing, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, but this is the way I do it. I wrap my yarn around and I pull down a loop so that it's crossed like this. I hold this in my fingers. Okay. Then I start my stitch. So in this case, I'm doing a double crochet. I wrap my yarn around twice. I go down into the magic ring. Now, just like she said, see my tail, how I'm holding my tail and my loop? And then I grab up a loop. So you can see I have 3 loops on my hook. I yarn over and pull through 2 and yarn over and pull through 2. Now it does put this stitch kind of along tail there. So then what I do is I pull on the ring part, not the tail, the ring, and I kind of cinch that up a little bit. And now as I begin working around the magic ring, I work over these 2. So I'm working over the tail as I go. And this helps to keep it secure. Okay, so however many stitches, whatever your pattern calls for, I just keep working around and around and around. Now, it is kind of large, so there are times where you'll see me pull on the tail. I make this starting loop smaller, again, as I work all the way around the magic ring. A lot of people don't care for the magic ring. Sometimes, it's been known to come loose in projects. For me personally, I've not had that happen, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it won't. And so a lot of people prefer the chain of 3 or chain of 4. Um, but then I would just join with a slip stitch to the very beginning, and then you come back and tighten up your magic ring. Then I would take my darning needle and put it on my yarn here. And I go around this a bunch of times, and I try to work also in opposite directions. So I go one way all the way around and get that secured up, okay, and kind of tightened in the center. Now, when I go through these stitches, I'm splitting the fibers. So what I mean is I'm not going underneath those stitches. I'm trying to put my needle through the stitches and split them, because when you do that, that creates friction that helps hold on to your tail. Then what I do is I work back in the other direction. Okay, so go back the other way, and I just keep working this tail in until the whole thing is almost absorbed, and then I trim it off. So that is how I hide my tail. Okay, so the question becomes is how secure is this? I will tell you, I try to go back and pull these out. See how I can't even pull out the stitches because it is so tight on there. It basically I have to throw this away. It's no good. I've tried to go back and undo these after I've woven in my tail, and that wasn't even fully woven in. But you get the point, okay? So that's how I do my magic rings. There's a video of my magic rings on my TikTok and also on my YouTube under the videos. And so I hope that helped. Does that help? Does that help? Let me put this away. I'm sorry. I know I missed a bunch of comments when I was doing that little demonstration. Uh, Jessica said, no, this just came up on my FYP. Welcome, Jessica. 12,000 likes. I missed the 10,000. Thank you guys all so much for 10,000 hearts this morning on TikTok. 10,000. That is amazing. Thank you all so much. Let me rewind here and see if I can catch up on some of these comments. Bear with me here, y'all. Gen X and I made it a fancy town name. Yeah, you sure did, girl. uh, let's see. I found a couple patterns on Etsy. I'm in the middle of a big blanket for my daughter. The skulls are next. Oh, nice. I want to make some. Like, are you talking about like the skulls where it's like a scarf or not a scarf? What do you call that triangle thing? I'm drawing a blank. Shawl. I think that would be cool. I think a halter top with skulls like on the bottom would be kind of cool. I'm on a halter top kick right now. If y'all didn't get that memo. Anyhow, Jessica, welcome. If you want to join the Discord, guys, there is a link on the link tree. Now, if it does not open, if it gives you an error, make sure and click the three dots and open in browser. Click open in browser. Okay. Um, skull granny squares. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, that's cool. Harley, I am making little granny squares. This is what they look like. I'm using the Red Heart all-in-one yarn. I wish I could take credit for the yarn combo, the color combo, but it's not mine. You buy it like this. This is what it looks like. This is the color Black-Grape. Black-Grape, Red Heart, all-in-one granny square. So I made my own thing. I didn't want to make squares like this, the traditional granny squares. So I just came up with my own thing, and I'm just kind of showing everybody how the square works up. So we just started here in the middle. I'm going to make another one. We're to this dark purple color now. When we do the dark purple, we're actually working in the space in between these posts. And we're going to do 2 together double crochet in each one. Okay, so I'm going to start with a standing double crochet here. And I'm not going to finish that double crochet. Okay, I'm going to leave it open. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do another double crochet right here into that same stitch. And again, do not finish. So we have 1 here and number 2 there, unfinished. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. Chain 2 to move to the next space. So again, not working up here on top, working in between the post, a 2 together double crochet, yarn over, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, holding, do not finish. Start your next double crochet, right down in, grab up your loop. Now we have 3 loops, 2 unfinished, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. You squish those together. Chain 2, move to the next space, again, 2 together, double crochet. Reset gift goal. Wow, you guys, thank you so much this morning for all of the gifts and all of the likes and everything. We have 8 thumbs up over here on YouTube. Really appreciate all of the support. Y'all are amazing. What can I say? What more can I say? So if you are new to my channel, as I mentioned, my name is April, and I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. And I just kind of share some of the projects that I'm working on. Every day I work on something different. Now, tomorrow we're going to be working on a market bag. For those that are interested, I have it here. Oh, let me grab it. I'm going to be doing a different colorway, but we're going to start one of these on the live. And anytime I come live, I share links to the pattern that I'm working on. But this is a little mesh market bag. It's hard to get all the way on the screen with little straps and stuff. So really cute bag. It stretches out, gets real big. I'm going to do probably a smaller one, but you can see how much stretch that has for, going to the beach or getting groceries or whatever the case may be. We're going to make one of those. And I'll put links on the link tree for that tomorrow, the pattern that I'm following and everything. That way you guys can access that if you want to make a bag. Harley said it's the afternoon in Ireland. Nice. Marcia said, can you slow down how to do the standing double crochet? I absolutely can. I just messed that stitch up. See how that looks weird right there? That's not right. Let's redo that. Marcia, I'll show it on the next time I have an opportunity. I'll have to get all the way around and I'll show you how to do that. The next row doesn't count for we're not going to do a standing double, but I will show you one. All right. Welcome, new friends. I see you guys popping up there. All of our OGs are here. Welcome, welcome. We have a fabulous little crochet group going here. For those that don't know, I'm sitting here crocheting, but it's not just about me. It's about all these fabulous people that are here every morning, having their coffee, or every afternoon, having their tea or whatever, soft drink maybe. Um, Anyhow, it's a fabulous little group. So if you are on the FYP watching, don't be afraid to hit that follow button. Come on in, say hello. We don't bite, at least not too hard. Rita says, I love the stitch markers with hook sizes. Yeah, that's what this is, for those that don't know. So I have different ones. I just put a little, I have some more fancier ones. I just needed something to be able to remember what I was doing. So you can rewatch how I made those on the YouTube. We did those, what, 3 weeks ago or something? Jenex says, only Hannah bites. Yeah, I saw Hannah was in the house. Good morning, Hannah. By the way, I don't know if I got to say hello to you. So I have different ones. They all have the little size on them. Here's one that has a big G on it. This one's a little heavier, so but I just clip these onto my projects, and then you're like, why does she have so many? Y'all, I have a lot of projects. I always have a lot of projects going on. Here's H. So each little compartment here is a different size. G, H, I, J, and I only have one K right now. All the K's are on projects. But towards the end, I just got a little lazy. So I just put, they don't have to be fancy. They just have to tell me I'm using a J hook. And then I have my little lobster clasp here. All of these materials are on the link tree if you wanted to make your own. If you want to make your own stitch markers, our friend Karen, TSH Designs by Karen, she has an Etsy page and she makes custom ones and she sells a bunch of them. A lot of our friends have bought them from Karen. So feel free to check her out. Give her a follow over here on TikTok. I don't know what her Etsy store is. I think it's the same, TSH Designs by Karen. There is a link on the link tree to Karen's Etsy store if you want to purchase some hook minders. So they're just like stitch minders, but they tell you what hook size you're using. Okay, so here we are. This is why this yarn is so frustrating for so many people. Okay, so I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess it's frustrating if you don't have enough of these stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or you just can't count. Perhaps I just can't count. I just now counted 12. But this is forgiving. Okay, so this is the all-in-one yarn by the Granny Square yarn by Red Heart. You can see I have all this extra yarn. So how I'm going to deal with this is I am going to work slip stitches around the wheel until I get to the next lavender color. And I'm just going to, I'm going to work 2 around each one of these and like through the top here. It's really kind of forgiving. It's not going to affect this square. Okay, so when I was coming up with this, I was like, I need something that is not going to impact how this finishes out. Okay, so I do slip stitches. Yes, it makes it a little fatter along here, but you can't really tell uh, if you're using the right type of like square, then this is very forgiving. You could just continue working around, right? So the next pattern or the next row we're going to do here, we're going to create a chain structure. So you can kind of see here how there's these loops. That's why I say it doesn't matter how many stitches and stuff are around here because we're working in between those spokes and we're just going to do this chain. So I can go around without having to cut off my yarn and not have it affect anything. So I do a chain of 3. I worked from the space. Now I'm going to work to the next space here and I'm going to slip stitch. Chain 3, move to the next, slip stitch, chain 3, slip stitch, chain 3, all the way around into the space, slip stitch, chain 3, into the space, slip stitch, chain 3, and just keep working this all the way around. So you can see this square is forgiving if you end up with extra yarn. Anybody who has used this red heart yarn knows it is inconsistent and you end up with varying amounts of each color, which is why it becomes a challenge. So by doing a design like this, it removes that whole frustrating part from the square. Now, is it still perfect? No, it's still not absolutely perfect. Okay. This gets a little kind of curled in. That's okay. When we come back around, we're going to, this will start to flatten back up. I will show how to do a standing double. I've got to get to a point where I can do one. I'm trying to think if I have another square here I am in the middle of. I really don't. I have to go around a few more times, then I'll be able to do it. Okay. Let's see. And it makes it even longer to make. Yeah, it's this yarn can be a challenge. Have a good day, Kriana. Thanks for being here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do single crochets around each of these chains that I just made. Now, again, the amount of purple that I have it varies. So what I figured out is I need anywhere between 4 in each one and 5 in each one. So again, it's kind of random. For this, I'm going to try 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4. At the end, it's not going to matter as long as my yarn ends up coming out the right amount. Because what we're going to do, ooh, 7, Mrs. Tommy. Thank you. Thank you for all the support. Love those little cakes. Even if I do 5, 4, 5, 4, and so on, when we come back around, I'm only utilizing 3 of those stitches. So I can do 3, 3, 3. And that's why it doesn't affect the overall design. So let's start with, let's do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now I'm going to move to the next. I'm only going to do 4. The reason why it's different amounts is because I'm trying to guesstimate how much yarn I'm going to have. Jessica said, well, I've tried everything and can't get on the Discord server. Jessica, I will, did you follow me already, Jessica? I will, after the live, I will DM you a link to it, okay? And hopefully you can get on that way. Try opening it in a browser. That sometimes will help as well. If you've already tried that, I will try to send you another link. So I just can't do it right now while I'm crocheting, but after the live, I promise I will send you one. All right? Does that sound like a good deal? Usually when it gives you that error, if you click, there's like 3 little dots, click on the 3 dots and then say open in browser, whatever browser you've got on your phone, then it'll probably work. So we're going to do 5 here. Now let's go back to 4. So again, I know it sounds weird that I'm doing different amounts, but does everybody understand why I'm doing different amounts? Does it make sense how I'm trying to make this square like work? I want to try to explain it better if somebody doesn't understand. This yarn that I'm using is the all-in-one granny square. So they automatically change between these colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am at their mercy. So here we go. This is where we, see, can you see the little color change here? Right here? See how it goes from the light purple to the dark? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the exact amount of stitches as I go around this. I have this much more to go to make this yarn work out perfect. And it's kind of like yarn chicken. It's kind of like I'm at the casino pressing my luck or something. I don't know. It's a challenge. So we'll see. And I might have to frog this back out, but I'm trying not to cut the yarn. That is my mission. Try to make this square without cutting my yarn. Okay, so are we getting close here? We've got this much more. Let's see what we can do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm this much short. So we could do a couple different things. We could do slip stitches around and try to make that work out. With doing slip stitches here, it would make this stitch much wider, and because you'd end up with double. The way that I'm doing this square is we are doing back post work, and I really believe if I do chains, it will affect that. Jessica said I would appreciate the link. Keeps telling me it's invalid. No problem, Jessica. I will DM you after the live. Okay. So that tells me I need to frog this back, and some of the ones that I put 4 in, we need to put 5. How far back do we think we should go? Let's go back here. We'll go all the way back here, and let's put 5 in each one. This is why people get frustrated with this yarn. Me, I'm just trying to take it all in stride, and I'm trying to like make it a challenge, right? I'm trying to challenge my brain with how can I make these stitches work out perfect and not get frustrated and just know that it's part of using this yarn. So, I'm not frustrated by this. I don't know if this would be too aggravating for other people. But for me personally, I'm not frustrated by this, frogging it back a little bit. Obviously, it slows me down, but it's not really like that bad. So now I'm putting 5 into each one because this yarn had a little bit longer. Last time it was a little shorter. Okay, so here we are. Here's our color change right here. I have this much more for this many stitches. So let's see what we can do. 1, 2. Now I have 2. Now I have too much. So I need like 2 more stitches. That tells me I need to take 2 out of one of these, right? Because I need to stretch it out. So I'm going to do 4 here on each one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I have to join with a slip stitch here. And here we are to our purple now. So anyhow, there we go. Let me tighten up my center part here a little bit. But now I'm ready to start the dark purple yarn. Can you see how that's a little darker? So it just takes some fudging, right? Now, as we work our dark purple, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a treble crochet, chain 3, treble crochet. Now, as we did the last square, for those that were watching, I ended up with a lot of extra of this dark purple. So what that tells me is I need to make these stitches not so tight this time when I do it. I need to give them a little more breathing room, a little more wiggle room, just a little more room all around. Okay, so I'm going to start here with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That counts as my treble crochet. Then I need a chain of 3. That's our little turn. Now right back down in here, we need another treble crochet. Wrap my yarn around twice, and I'm going to go down into this stitch and grab up this loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, so that becomes our corner. Now you can go through and you can mark your corners so that they are easier to find. All right. Hey Wilbur, good night. How are you? Are you having a good evening over there? Arlene said that is a lot of finagling. It absolutely is a lot of finagling. If you don't like to do finagling, I wouldn't try this all in one yarn because you might find it really frustrating. If you like a challenge, which I kind of like a challenge, um, it's not bad. It's not bad. And I am having to weave in less tails than I would normally. So that's a plus for me. We counted out if I changed all these yarns on my own, right? If I changed all these colors, I would have tails to weave in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 tails to weave in. Now, the one that we did this morning, if I can find it, where'd he go? Here he is. I cut my yarn once, which is right here on the purple. I ended up cutting this purple yarn. I had too much. I'm going to try to make adjustments on this next square right now so that I don't have to cut this. So I ended up with my starting that I have to weave in. There's one, there's two, and then I cut my black. So I had four. So I'd have 4 ends to weave in instead of 5 ends to weave in. Sarah said, I think I might try this with retro stripe and see what it looks like. I think it would look awesome with retro stripe, Sarah. This pattern will totally work for any yarn. I'm just trying to do it for this all in one. That's my challenge. I'm challenging myself here. Okay, so you can see I have marked the corners. The corners are going to be 3 trebles, chain 3, 3 trebles. That's what I've done here. Now, we're going to turn this from a round circle into a square. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to work 3 back post doubles around these loops here. Now, I have more stitches here than 3. And so I'm going to only be working with 3. In the middle one right here, this gets shorter. Okay, so we want it tall, short, then back to tall. So in the very middle, I'm going to do half back post half doubles. Then as I work back to the corner here, we're going to move back to back post double crochets. Marcia said, I have noticed that each of the stitches has to be the same size. Yeah, you definitely have to play with this yarn and kind of come up with everybody crochets differently. Everybody has a different tension. So, Marcia and I could be sitting right next to each other, crocheting on the couch, and the exact same yarn, the exact same hook, and our 2 squares could end up looking totally different because her and I crochet different. I guarantee it. There's no way that we crochet exactly the same. Hood, hooked, hooked, hooked. I think maybe it's hooked. Sorry, I apologize if I messed up your name. This pattern is something I just created. So I'm using this morning or this afternoon, wherever you are, the Granny Square All-in-One yarn by Red Heart. This yarn is specifically designed to make these granny squares. It has the light in the middle, then a darker purple, then a lighter purple, and then another darker purple, and then black. Okay, so this yarn, as you work along, if I pull out all this purple, you can see it's going to automatically change to black. That is the way that the yarn is designed. And what I wanted to do, I didn't want to make the granny square. I didn't want to make the traditional granny square. I wanted to make something different. So I came up with this square that I'm using with this yarn. And right now we are working on this purple to turn it from the circle into the square. And then we're going to come back with the black. Okay. It's not for everybody. It is a bit of a challenge because you have to be patient with this yarn as you try to get it to work out. So I'm in the middle section here. Now I'm going to do the half doubles, back post half doubles, and I am going to do a total of 3 of them. And when I get done with this square, guys, I think I'm doing all right on time. We're going to make another one. Okay. So if you missed the first part, you can also go back on my YouTube. You'll be able to rewatch this square and how I made it. But there isn't a pattern for this. There's no written pattern. It's just something that I came up with. Okay. Now I'm going to move to the last section here. and I am going to do 3 back post half doubles. Let's see, that yarn doesn't work out even with the traditional granny square. I had to cut and paste. Hank, yes, all about Hank. That's the challenge, right? And a lot of people, there's a lot of, I think, mixed reviews on this yarn. I'm curious how many people have actually used this yarn, and would you use it again? I guess, uh, uh, show of hands, how many people have used this yarn? And oh wow, 20,000 likes. How about that, friends? 20,000. Thank you. Thank you so much. YouTube friends, thank you so much for hitting that like button over there on YouTube. I appreciate it. We have 8 likes over on YouTube. Very, very cool. Hook said I used it, but not for granny squares. Let's see. Mrs. Tommy has her hand up. All About Hank said I would use it again, but I had no idea it wasn't going to work like it says. I think that's how most people are. I just barely got this yarn. You know, there's a ton of YouTube videos over the past year. You know, and I've seen all the hype, I've seen all the TikToks, I've seen the frustration, I've seen all the geniuses who made it work, and you know, are just above and beyond what I can do. You know, I see all that. But I did have to come on and try it for myself. But for me, I wasn't going to try to make a traditional granny square. That's just not. I don't know. I mean, I could have tried that. I guess I could. You guys want me to try to make one a regular just to see if I can do it? I I totally would. You know, I'm down for a challenge. So anyhow, here's our corner: treble crochet, chain 3, treble crochet. Now, when I do these corners, I'm not working up here in the top, okay? I'm coming all the way down here. Pull in the upper left if you want to vote. Gen X made us one right up here on TikTok. Click that if you want to participate in the poll. And we'll just get, I can't participate in the poll, but this is my first time with this yarn. I've been a yarn holdout. My first time buying it, I bought 6 skeins. This is the colorway Black-Grape. And instead of making the modern granny, or the traditional granny, I made this square instead. I just thought I wanted to challenge myself because I'd seen everybody else who've done the regular granny square. And I thought, well, being the rebel that I am, I'm going to do it a little different. And so that's what we've got today. So now I'm here in the middle. So here's our trebles. Then I did 3 doubles, back post. Now I'm doing 3 back post half doubles. Okay. So shorter right here in the middle. I'm using a size I9 hook this morning. Let's see. I haven't tried the granny square yarn yet, but I would like to. Randa, good morning. How are you? Yes, a 5.5 millimeter. Thank you. I never know the millimeters. I use vintage hooks and they don't say on there, so I'm always not sure. I love the colors mostly. That's how I am too. That's why I finally wanted to get this yarn, because this purple really called to me. I don't know why. I'm on such a purple kick right now. What's wrong with the yarn? Jane, there's nothing wrong with the yarn. The way that the Red Heart designed this yarn, this is the Granny Square all-in-one yarn, okay? And the way that they made the yarn, they made it so that when you make a granny square, you know, you have to change colors when you do a granny square. So normally what you have to do is snip off, tie on a new color, move to your dark purple, snip off, move to the lighter purple, snip off, and you're making all these color changes, right? And so then when you make a granny square, you have all these ends to weave in. And so that is why they designed this yarn. They made it so that it automatically changes to the next color. So you can see right here, see how it transitions from purple to black? Black is the last row of the granny square. So the challenge that people have is we all crochet with different tensions, and they end up it's a challenge to make it end properly so that when I finish this dark purple, I'm ready to do the black. Now, clearly, I'm not doing the traditional granny square. I've made my own, but it's the same challenge, right? So it's not per se that there's something wrong with the yarn. It's just a challenge to make sure that your colors are ending. It's almost like yarn chicken. It's almost like playing a game of, can I get this yarn to end at the right exact spot by making my stitches the exact same size over and over again, uh, to ensure the proper outcome. So that's how I look at it. I look at it as a challenge, like as a game to play, to try to figure out, but there's a lot of reviews. There's tons of TikToks where people have voiced their opinions on the granny square yarn. Um, Obviously, they're still selling enough of it because they're coming out with new colors. So we made one of these squares earlier on the live, and this one so far, I've not had to cut my yarn. Okay, so I've done. You can see the very center here. This is where I started. Now I had to measure my center, and I'm going to make another one of these squares. But I changed here, and I haven't had to snip off. I don't have any tails to weave in. Had I done this the traditional way, I would have 2, 4, 6, 8, and then the black would be 10. I would have 10 tails to weave in. So that is the challenge, is to not have to snip off the yarn, have your colors work out exactly right, and not have all the tails to weave in. That's basically the concept. Does that help? Or you have way too much. Most of the time, you don't have enough to make it to the next round, or you have way too much. That is it. Nailed it. Exactly it. Thank you for the follow this morning. Welcome, new friends. I think we're on the FYP. I've seen a number of new people popping on this morning. If you are new to my channel, my name is April, and I am a hobby crocheter. I just come on live and chat with my friends. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. I am live this morning both on TikTok and over on YouTube. Let's see. Marcia said people doing the yarn coloration was not a crocheter or knew what they were doing when they make the color spacing. Um, yeah, Marshall, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have enough knowledge to speak to that. I just know I'm trying to make it work. I am doing my best to make this yarn work. Okay, so the poll is in. Yes, I love it, 5%. Yes, I hated it, 0%. C, yes, but not for granny squares, 25%. D, no thank you, 70%. So 70% of you all said thank you, no thank you. So anyhow, that's the results. But I don't know. I think I'm doing a pretty good job, guys, of using this yarn. All things considered, everything that you know about the yarn, I think I'm making it work here. I'm doing my very best, and I'm not super, super frustrated with it. We're going to see. I'm getting close to the end here. We're going to see if I'm going to make it and it's going to work out, to be determined. We're coming up here. Here's my very middle. Here's what I have left. You all can see right there. I think it's going to be better this time. Maybe I'll nail it. Maybe I will nail the spacing. We're going to see. Is it softer than Super Saver? Yeah, it's pretty soft. It's really not bad, Hannah. Let's see. It's pretty, but too much work, thought process involved takes the fun out of crocheting. That now you guys know why I rearranged my schedule and I said I have to do something easy yesterday. I worked on that border because I couldn't even think about working on the market bag. I'm going to work on the market bag tomorrow. Here we go. I've got 3 stitches left to do. I've got this much yarn. I think we're still going to have too much, but I think it's closer than last time, right? 1, 2. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, there you go. What do y'all think about that? pretty darn close, right? Let me see if I can get it even closer. Let me take out this stitch right here. See, this is why I say it's a challenge. You always say you aren't a professional crocheter, but I must disagree with you. I'm not a professional crocheter though, Vicky. I just like a good challenge. I like to, I don't know. I like to test things out. For me, that's exciting. There we go. But bam, but bam. Oh, I know you guys love that, right? So, what I did differently on this one than the one I did this morning is the first one I did, uh, I knew I crocheted it too tight, right? As I was working on the purple, this is the one I did. I made these purple stitches too tight and we didn't have enough. We had too much of the purple left over. So when I went on the purple, I made a conscious mental note to loosen up my stitches. And I got to say, nailed it. Nailed it. Do I need a sticker that says nailed it? Am I patting myself on the back? You're absolutely right. I'm patting myself on the back. That was a big accomplishment. Okay, so now I'm working on my outer border here. Single crochet, chain two, single crochet. And now I'm going to work a single crochet around each one of these stitches all the way to the end. Obviously, I'm going to have extra black because I'm not doing a double crochet. The way they designed this square was to have the modern or the traditional granny has a double crochet on the final edge, and obviously I'm not doing that. So standing double, yes, I will do that. How about we do it right here? Okay, so standing double. Are we ready? We're taking an intermission. Little squirrel ran by asking for me to show them a standing double. Kathy, this is a pattern that I made up. Now, guys, if you're not following me over on YouTube, my handle over there is Wheeler 8 Acres. You'll be able to go back and rewatch the video of me making this square. There is no written pattern. I just made it up. Okay. So it would work fine for any yarn that you're using. Obviously, I'm playing a little game of yarn chicken because I'm trying to use the granny square yarn and have it work out without me having to cut my yarn. That's the challenge. Okay, standing double. The way I do my standing double is it's really let me do it right here. Okay, so I I'm trying to get in the right spot. I'm not. So what I do is I pull up my loop about the size I anticipate a double crochet to be. Okay, so I've just got that one loop. Then what I do is I turn my hook towards me and away from me, and I put a little loop or a little twist in my yarn. Can you see the little twist there? Then I go through my stitch, grab up a loop, then I yarn over and I go under the first stitch. Okay, so I slide that first stitch on. Normally you would pull through this. I'm not going to pull through. What I do is I pull it around and behind and I give it a twist. And then I yarn over and pull through both of them. And then I would do another double crochet. So when you come back and sew this, see how it's got this stitch right here? It's hard to see with the black, huh? Let me I've got some other yarn here. Let me tie on with a white and show you guys the standing double with a lighter colored yarn because I think it might make it easier. Okay, bear with me here. I got to get this yarn going. Okay, so let's say I just came around this square and I'm finishing it. Now I'm ready to go up a row, right? And I want to do a standing double crochet. Normally you would chain 3, right? I'm not going to chain 3. I'm going to do a standing double instead. Okay, here we go. Pull your loop up about the size of your double crochet. Then I twist my hook back and towards me and I put a little twist here in my yarn. Can you see the little twist? Then I go down through the loop and I grab up a loop. So now I have 2 loops. I yarn over and I go through the first one. Now, normally you would go through the second one. I don't go through the second one. I go around. I go behind and give it a twist. So I still have 2 loops on my hook. Then I yarn over and go through both. And then I would do my, and then as I come back around, I'm going to join it right here. See how this looks like this and it looks the same? That's why I like that stitch. Now, other people do the standing double crochet a little different, and I will show you that as well. You might like this better. I personally do not. Uh, when they bring this around, okay, they do not let go of it. Okay, so they leave it like this. Then they go in and pull up a loop. Then when they come around, they actually go under both of these and then this. And so it makes it a little like bulkier right here because you can't let that go. It's really hard to do. I find it really hard to do. But I don't know. I don't get it as nice and straight as that. So I don't hold on to mine. I just pull it up, get that little twist, go down in, grab up my loop, pull it through, pull it around and give it a twist. That forces that to straighten itself back out and then yarn over and pull through two. To me, this looks more like a double crochet than any other way that I have seen. And I don't know if this is something that I saw somebody else do or if I just came up with it myself. There's a number of videos of how to do the standing double. And when I watch those videos, they don't end up looking like this. They look different. And so I'd like to say it's my own, but I can't guarantee that this is my own. Okay. But that is how I do my standing double. And then, like I said, as I come back around, I would slip stitch right here to these two bars. Okay. So then when you slip stitch, it gives it the same look here with this crossed. And that's how I do my standing double. Uh, that is more symmetrical than with the other way with the bulk. Yeah, the other way it's definitely bulkier. It doesn't make it right or wrong. There's no rules in crochet. You guys hear me say this all the time. You're more comfortable doing your standing the other way, but somebody here on the live asked me how to do it, and so I just was sharing it. Okay, let's go back to our border. How am I doing on time? I haven't gotten a puzzle piece today, so I'm a little do I have enough time to make another one? I might not have enough time. It seems like I've been on for a while now. Thank you so much for the follow. Oh, only 15 minutes. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I guess I don't have time for another one. But if you are just coming on and you missed how to make this square, as I mentioned before, you can follow me, subscribe over on YouTube. My handle over there is Wheeler8Acres. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. I'm a hobby crocheter. I do work full time, and I hop off at 9:30 Central Time, so I can go get ready for work and maybe get another cup of coffee, fill the bird feeders, feed the dogs, all that jazz. Tomorrow, I am going to be making a market bag beach tote. It's like a mesh beach tote, and so that's what's on deck for tomorrow. Yesterday we worked. I finished a wheelchair size blanket yesterday, so that was nice to get that one off my hook. But that's what we've got coming up. So this is what I'm making tomorrow. If you guys, I won't have time to do the whole market bag on the live, but I'll link you to the YouTube where I watched how to do this. But we're going to be making a tote bag like this. So you make your single crochets and then you make this mesh. Like I said, I won't have enough time. I'll be on for 2 hours tomorrow, but I don't think I can finish a whole bag in 2 hours. And then it's got its little straps, but it's nice if you want to, put your book in there, your sunscreen. I like that it's all holy because that way the sand can fall out. I could see myself putting my flip flops in there, right? That are all covered with sand as I walk on the beach and having the sand like fall through. I think that will be a fun project. So that's what we've got on deck tomorrow. So if you are new, I change my projects every day. I crochet 3 days a week on the live. And I do that just because after talking for 2 hours, it makes it hard to come on the next day and talk about the same thing again. So I always have a lot of projects going. I would say, probably more than normal works in progress. But you know, that's just kind of the way I roll. Lulu, I would recommend cotton yarn for the bag. This particular yarn that I used is right here. If you want to crochet tomorrow with me, I used Karen cotton cakes for this. Now I'm going to be using I love this cotton tomorrow. This Karen cotton cakes is 60% cotton and 40% acrylic. So it is a blend. Tomorrow I'm going to be using 100% cotton. So that's what I would recommend for a market bag. A good rule of thumb, Lulu, is if it's going to get wet or get heat, you would want to use a cotton yarn. Okay, so if you have a dish rag you're making and it's going to get wet in the kitchen, you would want to use cotton. If it's going to be something you take to the beach, and most likely you're going to get water on this or sand or whatever, uh, air on the side of cotton. Cotton holds its shape better. Whereas acrylic has some stretch to it, okay, and it just works better for that purpose. Same thing with heat, right? If you're going to make a pot holder for your kitchen or like a trivet or something that you're going to sit a hot pan on, uh, acrylic would most likely melt or become distorted because of the heat. So in that case, you use a natural fiber, use cotton. Okay. So that is the general rule of thumb. So, guys, this again is the square that I made. I have a number of these. I'm going to make probably a wheelchair size blanket. My personal project this year, my dad passed away in this past December, and my dad spent a lot of time in his final days at the Veterans Center. He was an Army vet, and he was very proud of the fact that I made blankets for donation. And so, my personal project this year in his memory is to make a minimum of one wheelchair sized blanket a month to give to charity. And I'm donating to Sabre Healthcare. They accept veterans blankets and also wheelchair blankets. There are links on the link tree. They are part of Warm Up America. So I have a lot more of these squares to make. I bought a total of 6 skeins of yarn, but I am on my way here. I might be working on this for a few months, this particular square. I'll pick it up, I'll come back to it. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to make the video. So today, I have been live on YouTube. You can go back and rewatch any of my previous lives on my YouTube. Now, when you look at the YouTube, there's a little bucket that is videos, then shorts, then live. So if you watch me make something live, make sure you go to the live tab, okay? And you can rewatch how I made this square. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off. It's a little early today, but I hope everybody has a wonderful Wednesday. Thank you for meeting that last goal. I appreciate all of the gifts. Thank you so much for all of the screen taps. A shout out to our moderators, Gen X and Anvil, best moderators on TikTok. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.